Okay, we're live.
Okay.
So,
Do you want to lead the
oh,
questions?
yeah, I can. I'll lead us too. Okay, well, I'll lead us, and then I'll just, yeah, I'll bring up hers as well. You said you have hers pulled up too.
Yeah, so I can read hers out if you
Yeah.
want.
Okay, sweet. So, first question is, what power do these women claim to? Oh, wait, do these women claim that women have?
So Susanna said, according to Mary Wollstonecraft, the weirdest name, she argues that men and women are different among their power of mind, persistence, and endurance. Not only that, but another claim is that about the virtues of women, which is very important and the most valuable possession any woman can have, and it's one of the most important tools that men can rely on. So that's what she said. I think one of the biggest things that they say that they have is like even though they have like the rights to get as educated as possible or as strong as possible. So they say like even if they're not like physically able to get as strong as a man would be, like they still have the power to do as much as they can. I think is what I got from it. Yeah.
Yeah, same. Like, so like, yeah, it talks a lot about how like the poem, the only thing that I really like fully understood, how they're talking about how like beauty is like power and like take over man and like women are the sickest and like they don't need like men, and then at the very end it's like but we're like soft as well, like our natural, like the natural woman is like soft, and then I'm pretty sure she just like doesn't she kind of like go back on everything she says about like
That's what I wondered too. Like the very last sentence, she like took it all back and was like, "Oh, but it's not like that if you love someone." It's like, "Oh,
yeah, something about like mutual love, like
yeah,
takes what does it say, that separate rights are lost in mutual love. um but yeah, like how our teacher was saying it, she's like, um yeah, they use beauty as a weapon and like a power, and then in the end though she doesn't see this as a way to conquer men. Women, she believes, are soft and they can only pursue love through their beauty. um but then like in the other readings it seemed like they were talking a lot about how like you what you were saying, you know, like they have the right to be like just as educated and just as strong, and to like prove that, and if they still don't prove that, then there's just then women are soft or something. So
yeah." No, it's weird. I don't. The first one, like, I was like, that totally contradicts itself because she like goes on and on about how women are so powerful, and then at the end, she like basically like saying that if you're in love, you don't get any of that stuff.
yeah.
That's super interesting that like someone can think that way. Like it's like women can be all these things, and then as soon as you love someone, like it's not like that. Like you have to bow down to them, and that's it. And I was like,
That's your life, slavery.
yeah, yeah, for real.
Yeah, I know. I was like, yeah, you go, like freaking giving it to him, and then yeah, at the very end, just
Yeah,
kind of like,
yeah,
yeah, was like, this is, yeah, I guess she's kind of like, this is how women can be and should be, but most of the time, this is what happens.
yeah. So kind of weird.
So, but it's kind of funny to like read about like them, like how they talked about it back then, and then like how women are today, and like all like women are like CEOs and like running businesses and like doing all this stuff. It's pretty funny to like see the difference. But
Yeah, like now I feel like now it's not even really a problem. People just like make it a problem, but I'm like really like they're the same. It's the same. But
yeah,
whatever.
I agree 100%. Okay. So that was okay. So that was the first question.
Yeah.
Okay. Second question is, how is beauty a benefit or a hindrance for women in these writings?
Okay, I'll read what Susanna said. She said, Barbold talked about how women might use beauty for their own purposes, more like a weapon, just to get the attention of men, etc. However, she didn't see this as something to defeat men. She believed that women are soft and they can only pursue love through their beauty. So I believe that within any woman, beauty is important because anyone can use it as a tool, but most importantly, to use it to win a lot of people's hearts.
Nailed it.
Yeah, that's a lot of that was like kind of what the teacher said in her writing thing. But yeah, I think it's the same. What is a hindrance? Is that like a negative thing?
Yeah, like it's stopping you from doing something or like hindering your ability to do something. You know? But
I don't think that's what it is. Right? I feel like they were using beauty as like a weapon or a tool. I feel like if there was hindrance, it would be like love, not beauty. That was the hindrance.
That's smart. That was profound.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I guess so. It's like, so like beauty. Wait, is that the question? How's beauty? So yeah, so maybe like beauty is always like a benefit as long as they're like using it right. But then if they just, or let's see. Wait, what did you say again? That was good.
The thing about how I think that if it like something was a hindrance, it wouldn't be beauty, it would be love.
Okay. So yes, because like the poem, like once they fall in love, then it's kind of like their beauty's for like.
Yeah, like that's when it goes all downhill. Like they use their beauty as like a tool. I feel like at first, like they were like, oh yeah, like you can use, like it's and then once love came, that's when like it all stopped. I think.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I guess the only way it would be like a hindrance is if like a woman relies so much on her beauty to get her places and to get things accomplished that like other areas of her life suffer. Like some like I guess you see it all the time. Like pretty girls think not all pretty girls. Some pretty girls think that like their beauty can just like get them whatever they want, and like guys will buy them stuff and they'll just smile and kind of flirt, and then but like when it comes down to like other aspects of their life, they haven't put such an emphasis there maybe. But that's all I can really think of how it would be.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think like there's like one thing that I read, well, it was in here, something about like the first 20 years, like if you're beautiful, like not the first 20 years, but it said like 20 years of your life, you're like golden. Like you don't have to do much, just like by being beautiful, like you can get through 20 years without having to do anything. And I was like, okay, like that kind of makes sense. Like I feel like that's not that like unheard of. And yeah, like just like you said, like even nowadays, like if you're beautiful, like you just kind of like get things handed to you, like especially like you look at like celebrities or something, it's like just for like having a good name or like being pretty, like being like Instagram models, like they are pretty and then people start following them and then they just get all this money and modeling thing, like everything just like starts to get handed to them just because they're pretty. So it can be a benefit, I guess.
Yeah, totally. And like if they were to like, I don't know, sounds mean, but like get in a car crash and like get disfigured and like lose that beauty, which is like getting them all this fame, you kind of like wonder like what else they would do because that's like all they have.
Yeah, and then articles, I think one of the articles like was talking about how like after that, then they like get married and then they have kids and they have this and they're like, what would they do like once the man is gone? Like they would have to like know how to take care of it themselves. And if they were just beauty, like they wouldn't have that. Like what would happen if the man died? Like the woman would have to like step up and know how to do like they would have to like be strong like and be smart and educated and know how to like deal with their kids and food and like whatever else. And so it's like if they were just relying on that beauty before then and then like something like that happened, like they wouldn't have any idea what to do. So that could be a hindrance.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, I think we nailed that one.
Yeah.
Okay, and then it says, so third question, are women portrayed as inferior to men in these writings?
Okay, Susanna said, I'm not sure about the answer for this question, but as I read the rendition of the rights of women, I could see one argument that Mary is trying to portray here. She talks about how we're able to identify differently from animals, which is reason, and human are being identified from another because of virtue. So I think this shouldn't be able to portray women as lower to men because women's virtue are playing an important part and it doesn't show in these writings. Okay.
So wait, she's saying
I think she's saying mostly she doesn't know. But she said it shouldn't be she said it shouldn't be able to portray men as lower to women as lower to men. Because women's virtue are playing an important part and it doesn't show in these writings. I don't really know.
Okay. So like women's virtues, the virtues of being a woman, or women's virtues.
Yeah.
Are what make them strong and not inferior.
Yeah. I think so.
Cool. Yeah, what do you think?
Are women portrayed as inferior? Is inferior mean like lower than?
Yeah, like less than.
I think that the whole point of these writings is them saying like, actually, yeah, I do think so. Because even the ones that they're saying like women are like, okay, well, in the second ones, when they're saying like women can do this and can do that and can do this, but they're saying like, even though they're going to be lower, like they can still try their best and, you know, get to their highest potential. But they're saying like it wasn't able to reach the potential of a man, which I don't disagree with. Like I think men in general are stronger than women. Like it's just how like they're built. But I think, yeah, but as far as education, I don't really agree with that. I think it just depends on the person, not really a man or a woman. So I do think they are portrayed as inferior.
Yeah.
Except in the first poem, I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Well, so let's see. When she's explaining the Wollstonecraft's writing, and she says, still she argues, even if women are not as intelligent or strong as men, they should not be kept. Wait. Oh, wait. She wants an education, so she is willing to concede that women may be inferior to men so that she can get that education to maybe make an experiment that could prove that idea wrong in the end. It's like, part of me thinks that they're comparing men and women on like the same things, but like obviously women have different strengths and like men don't have. And so like the way that they're portraying them, like compared to men in like strength, education at that time, and like yeah, like men were superior, and like in those aspects women are definitely portrayed as inferior. But I think like what she's saying is if women had equal chances, then they could be equal, but she doesn't think that they are, because like maybe that's all she can see around her at that time. I think that if they would compare men and women on like not those same things, like on different things, that like strengths that women have and strengths that men have, then it would be more equal. But
yeah, definitely agree, for sure.
Dope. Okay, I think that was all for that question.
Yeah, I think so. Okay.
Okay, and then so do women need to rely on men in these writings?
Okay, I'll read Susanna. She said, no, women do not need to rely on men. Women's soul are unique and special. Hold on. Mary related the women's soul's beauty to education and how that perfect education has to involve the intimacy of world's virtue. One of her primary concerns for women is education. In her writing, she portrayed the idea that the guiding principles of a woman's education should be to teach her to obey and to please. From this, it brought up the idea that women should be educated so that way they will stand out accordingly and never in any time to rely on men. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that they're saying kind of like that they do rely on men, but they don't need to. And I think that's like what the whole point, like that one, like the very last writing, like the chapter 3 one or whatever, is all talking about how like all the things that like men and women have to do together, and if the man were to go, like what the woman would have to like step up in. And so I think that's kind of saying like, yeah, they might rely on him, but they don't need to, because if they were to leave, like they would have to like do things on their own, and so they don't need them. They just probably want them, I guess. And then even
Yeah.
in the first one, like she's talking about how like you don't need a man kind of thing, like you go girl, and then but then in the end, I don't know, that kind of changes everything. But the first part of the poem, I would say she does not need a man.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I think that is like the whole gist, like women don't need to rely on men
Mm,
as much as they are right now,
yeah.
but they still are like
Yes.
at this point, and like maybe they just don't know how to not. I don't
Yeah.
know, like maybe because in a sense, like we do need to rely on each other, like men and women. But I
Mm,
think in this, they're just they're mostly focusing on how like women rely on men so much to the point it's like crippling,
mm.
and that they shouldn't, but they probably still will.
Yeah. True that. I thought of, have you seen or like read The Great Gatsby? Have you ever like studied that in high school or anything?
No, I feel like I shouldn't. I
Yeah,
haven't.
no. Well, there's this one part in it, and I don't know why I just thought of it, but it's like, so the whole thing is like this guy is like super rich, and he's like with this girl, and the girl is like way smarter than like in that time, like the girls were supposed to be just be like dumb and like marry whoever and then just like live their lives rich and like free of worry. Well, this girl was like really smart, and so she like had a baby, and the baby was a girl, and she was like, and I wept because I was glad it was a girl, and she's like, and I hope she'll be a fool, and she's like saying how like that's the best thing, like that's the best thing you can be in this world, like as a girl, like a beautiful little fool. So basically just saying like it's better, like if you're a girl it's better that you're dumb, because if you're smart then you just like see all the sadnesses of the world. And like because she was smart enough to figure out that like her husband is like cheating on her and like doing all these like bad things or whatever, and she's like, if I was a fool, like I would never have known that, and I could be like happy like everyone else. So I feel like comparing like how the times used to be like that, like women were supposed to just be dumb and like follow around, like do whatever and be free of like being smart or educated or worried about those kinds of things, to like what these girls are saying. Like they're saying, I feel like they would, I don't know, they're like the smarter ones that are like, no, like we can do better than like just doing nothing about anything. If that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, totally. That's funny. So it was like even to women, it was like, hey, it's better to be like naive and like not really
Yeah. And I don't
put
know if
too much.
all the naive women knew that, but because she was so smart, she figured that out, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know,
that's cool.
just a random,
Yeah, I like
like,
that. Cool. And so, yeah, totally. I think we covered it. Um, okay, sweet. So then it says Mary, super long name, points out that beauty was important to men or to women because, and I can't even read. Okay, points out that beauty was important to women because it helped them find a man to rely on. Does Barbald agree with the idea that women need to rely on men?
okay, Susanna said, the rights of women by exemplifying the fight for equality. Wait. Oh, wait, no. Wrong line. Barwell disagree with the idea that women need to rely on women as they outlined in the poem The Rights of Women by exemplifying the fight for equality. Barbell discussed about how women are known as empire in the poem, which means that they have the right to rule over the world. In other words, she thought of women as being independent and have the right for anything they want in life. I agree with that. Um, I don't know. I want to bring up the poem. Does she agree with the idea that women need to rely on men?
Barbald is the one that wrote that short poem, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, I wouldn't think that. I would think no, absolutely not. She's like does not need to rely. Like in the beginning, she's straight up is like no, like you don't need anyone but yourself, kind of thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Um,
I think that, yeah, like her personal opinion is like death to men.
Yeah, yeah, straight up, huh?
Wear the pants, and then
Yeah.
uh, so yeah, like personally, I think that she just like doesn't think that women need to rely on men, but she like is accepting that like that's how it is.
Yeah. And at the end, she's like, then abandon each ambitious thought, and like, and then says like the separate rights are lost in mutual love. But I don't know if she means that in a good way. Like, I don't know if she's saying like it's okay, like if you fall in love, then forget it, or if she's saying like, or if she's saying it as a bad thing. Like if she's saying like, is she saying like women are stupid because when they fall in love, then they just forget all that? Like, I don't really like. I don't know if she's being sarcastic or if she's serious.
Yeah. Wait, what is that? What does that line say again?
So the whole last paragraph says, then abandon each ambitious thought. Conquest or rule thy heart shall feebly move. In nature's school by her soft maxims taught, that separate rights are lost in mutual love.
Nature's school by her soft.
I don't.
I don't.
I think she's don't. They don't need a man, but so I think that she
Yeah.
would agree. I do think she's different. Like her writing and her thoughts are different from the second one because the second one is like she kind of relies on man and like you could tell that even though she wants women to like get to their full potential, she's like not. She doesn't really think that the full potential is like a man. Like you could tell she still relies on men and like needs them for this or that. And like if I have to, I'll do it, you know. But I feel like that's the second one's right mindset. But I feel like as for the first lady that wrote the poem, she's like, no, you really don't need one at all. Like you can do whatever.
Yeah. 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 Totally. That makes sense.
And then that's it, huh?
Yeah. Sweet. Yeah. That's all the questions. Yeah, it's my turn to write the paper.
Do you have questions or anything anything you want to write
I
about?
think I got it all. Let me see. That person should start with a statement of what these women have to say to beauty. Then that person should provide evidence from both works, quoting the works and explaining what those quotes say about beauty, and looking closely at the language of the quotes. Especially compared to like a lot of the other writings, I understand this one, like the gist of it. I'm glad I
Okay,
didn't.
cool. In these or anything? Because I wrote down a couple random quotes that I could send to you if you want them.
Yeah, send those to me. That'd be sweet.
Or I'll just copy and paste them into Facebook actually, or
Okay.
something like that. I'll just send them, and you don't have to use them, but there if you want them. And I think that's it.